all the audience present today. I will introduce myself. I am Muhammad Imran bin Amin Rishi as a moderator today. Today's forum is titled Negative Impact in Sport Gambling. A little introduction: sport betting as a form of gambling in which people place wagers on the output of sporting event. The most common type of sport betting is point spread betting, in which better wager on whether one team will win by. Common type of sport betting is point spread betting. More than a certain numbers of points whether the game will be in tie. Other popular types of betting includes money line betting, in which better wage on which team will the game, and totals betting, in which a better wager on whether the combined score of the two teams will be over or under a certain numbers of points. Sport betting has been around for countries, but it has become increasingly popular in recent years with the advent of online gambling. There are now a number of online sport books that offer a wide variety of betting options on a variety of sporting events. Without wasting time, I introduce today's panelists. Our first panel today is Prof. Akil from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. How are you, Prof? The second panel, I introduce our national psychologist, Dr. Izzat. Next, the third panel is Datuk Haris as a Deputy Minister of Human Resource. And the fourth panel is Muhammad Faiz as our country former athlete. Our panel today was great. Without wasting any more time, I will ask some questions to our panelists today. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right.
Ready.
For the first round, my first question in this first round is to the first panel. Muhammad Izzat as a panelist, do you know thing is most effectively by the sport betting?
All right. Thank you, moderator, for the question. Actually, sport betting problem can have significant impacts on families and communities. Yet, this has received relatively little research attention. Although most available information is based on intimate partners and children, sport betting can also affect extended family members such as parents, grandparents, and siblings. I think that is for the answer. I give to the moderator.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the views I answered. Next, I will to ask the second panel. For the arcade, can you explain more about anxiety on sport betting?
Okay. Thank you to the moderator. Okay. The anxiety is include to the mental health. For people who already have mental health problems such as anxiety, depression, obviously disorder, personality disorder, compulsive gambling can worsen the symptom. Sport betting addiction can also cause mental health issue that may drive sufferers to gambles even more. So the next, we can move to the financial problem. As sport betting activity increase, so do the losers problem. Gamblers may start to borrow or even steal money to continue gambling. As their financial situation worsen, the consequences become more serious and may include overdue bills, owning personal property, talking out payday loss, and racking up credit card debt. They may resort to bankruptcy to relieve their disparate financial situation. So that's answer the question.
Thank you for the answer. For the next panel, I will ask, will this thing run the world of sport?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. In the context of sports betting, there are significant negative consequences that we need to address. Particularly, is impact the integrity of sports. The presence of money in the equation raises the risk of match fixing and corruption. When large sums of money are at stake through betting, there is an increased likelihood that individuals or organized groups will try to manipulate game outcomes for their own benefit. This undermines the fairness and credibility of sport competition and others the trust that the public place in them. Not only does this compromise the fairness and competitiveness of the games themselves, but also tarnishes the reputation of the country and its sporting event on a global scale. It is crucial to address these concerns and implement measures to safeguard the integrity of sport in order to maintain their value and uphold the trust of fans and participants alike. That's all from me. We're back to Mr. Moderator.
Thank you for your view and answer. Next, I want to ask the panel for Encik Faiz. For athletes, can they lose their performance?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. So basically, yes, sports betting can become significantly distraction for athletes, potentially affecting their performance in several ways. First is mental focus. Sport betting can consume on athletes' time and attention, diverting their focus away from training, preparation, and games itself. Instead of being fully present and engaged in their sports, athletes may find they are occupied with thoughts about betting outcomes, odds, potential financial gains, or losses. The knowledge of betting activities surrounding their games can recreate emotional pressure and stress for athletes. They may feel the weight of expectation from bettors and fear the consequences of underperforming or not meeting the predicted outcomes. This emotional burden can negatively impact their confidence, mental resilience, and overall performance. So that's all for me. Back to Mr. Moderator.
All right. Thank you for the all panelists. It's over for this round. Then we move on the next round. All right. My first question in this round is to the first panel. How about the question to ourselves? Panel 1, Encik Akid.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So, the connection between depression and gambling is usually two-way. Some people may use gambling to escape negative thoughts or upsetting feelings. So, depression can put you at risk of developing a gambling problem, as the thought you winning money may sound like a good antidote to feel like any other addictive behavior. Gambling activities the brain's reward system, stimulating the production and endorphins and adrenaline, which further encourage gambling. However, as gamblers develop a tolerance for gambling over time, such behavior become less rewarding. So they need to engage in gambling more intensively to achieve the same pleasure. However, recent survey suggests the pupil with gambling issue are twice as likely to experience emotional distress and suffer from depression and those who don't gamble. So that's all from me.
All right. Thank you for the views and answer. Next, I want to ask the panel 2. What are the effects on intimate relationship?
Right, thank you, moderator. Actually, this is a good question. Actually, the effect of sport betting problem on intimate relationship have been divided into three distinct phases. First, the denial phase. Second, the stress phase, and the third, the last level, the exhaustion phase, as stated by Custer and Melk in 1985. It displays the typical cause for the effect of sport betting on intimate relationship. The types of impact identified in this model have generally been confirmed by recent research, which suggests that the intimate relationship of people with gambling problem involve poor communication, relationship, and sexual dissatisfaction, conflict and arguments, and consideration of separation or divorce. Firstly, for the denial phase, this process shows that the bettor always make excuses for sport betting and also state unexplained financial crisis with their family. This causes helplessness in terms of time, finance, and others between families and burdens the need of each family member. For the next phase, which is the stress phase, it shows that the bettor ignore their obligation as husband for their wife or spouse their spouse will feel rejected and always have an argument. For example, the wife will always request for divorce and with their husband that plays betting because it's not good for the future of the family. For the last level, which is the exhaustion phase, it shows that the member of the family, especially the wife and children, they will feel anxiety and panic, leading to a mental breakdown for them because it can affect their life. As we know, better usually angry when they didn't have enough money to bet, and they will tend to pressure other family members to give them money. I think this for question. I will be give to the moderator.
Alright, thank you for the views and answer. Next, I want to ask panel 3 about your opinion. This gambling will be self-destructive and may cause trouble for the surrounding community. What do you think?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. There's another important aspect to consider is how sports betting can negatively impact in terms of its social impact. One of the main concerns is the potential for addiction and problem gambling. This can have devastating effects on individuals and families, causing financial hardship, strained relationships, and even mental health problems. The prevalence of gambling in society can lead to an unhealthy obsession that can harm people's lives in various ways. It's important that we acknowledge and address this risk to protect individuals and promote overall well-being. Moreover, it is important to acknowledge that sports betting can contribute to a rise in criminal activities. Illegal bookmakers, in particular, engage in fraudulent behaviors such as manipulating odds, withholding payouts, or even refusing to honor winning bets. This underground gambling operation thrives in an environment where sports betting is widespread. This not only jeopardizes for an increase in organized crime within the country, it is crucial to recognize this risk and take necessary measures to combat illegal gambling and ensure the safety and security of both the sports industry and society as a whole. Thank you. That's all for me. Back to the moderator.
Alright, thank you for your views and answer. Next, I want to ask panel 4 about how the athlete reputation after they know they took the beating.
So thank you, Mr. Moderator. So basically, the damage of an athlete's reputation due to involvement in sports betting can be significant and long-lasting. Here are some ways in which reputation can be negatively affected, such as loss of trust. When an athlete is associated with sports betting, it erodes the trust that fans, sponsors, and the general public have in them. Trust is a vital aspect of an athlete's reputation, and any suspicion of involvement in illicit betting activities can lead to a loss of faith in their integrity. Being linked to sports betting can tarnish an image and athlete's image and public perception. It can create a negative perception of their character and raise doubts about their sportsmanship, fairness, and commitment to their sports. Moreover, sponsorship and endorsement laws. Companies and brands that sponsors athletes typically seek individuals with a positive and clean image. If an athlete's reputation is compromised due to involvement in sports betting, sponsors may withdraw their support, leading to a loss of endorsement deals and financial opportunities. So that's all from me. Back to Mr. Moderator.
Alright, thank you, panel 4. It's over for the second round. Then we move on to the next round. For this round, I will ask first panel, can sport betting affect at work?
Okay. For the answer, I will answer yes. Sport betting can cause job loss. Sport betting addiction can result in reduced productivity at work, especially if the person gambles in the workplace with their office mate. It can also lead to increased sickness or other absence, mental health problems, job loss, and, um, and employment. If this activity is known to employers, they will be warned for the first time about gambling. If this continues, they will likely be fired immediately. So, I think this answered the question.
All right. Thank you for the answer. Next, I will to ask a panel, second panel, about what a negative impact of sport betting on families. How about your opinions?
All right, thank you, moderator. I think this is a interesting question from moderator. First, the negative impact of sport betting on families. Sport betting affect the function of a family and intimate relationship. Beside that, sport betting affect intimate partners as well as other family members, including children, parents, siblings, and grandparents. After that, impact family relationship, emotional problems, and financial difficulties are some of the most common impacts on family members of people with sport betting problem. Lastly, the children of a betting victims are at a much higher risk of developing gambling problem than the children of non-gambling parents. I think that's for answer. That's from me. I will give to moderator.
Thank you for the views and answer. Next, I will to ask panel 3 about how will this impact the country's economies.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Sports betting can have several economic consequences, particularly in terms of personal finance. It often leads to a rise in personal debt and bankruptcy as individuals may wager more money than they can realistically afford to lose. This creates a vicious cycle where they continue to increase their bets in hopes of recovering their loss, only to accumulate even more debt. To fund their gambling activities, people may resort to borrowing money, using credit card, or taking out loans, putting significant financial strain on themselves. Bankruptcy become a real risk, resulting in the loss of assets like homes and business, as well as negatively impacting their credit worthiness, making it difficult for them to secure future loans or financial stability. These consequences not only affect individuals but also put a strain on the overall economy of a country and can lead to increased social welfare costs. That's all from me. So we can go back to the Mr. Moderator.
All right. Thank you for your views and answer, panel 3. Next, I will to ask panel 4 about can they hold their mental health after facing pressure from their betters?
So, thank you, Mr. Moderator. So, I will answer this. I will answer in short and simple. Sports betting can increase their pressure and stress on athletes. So, their mental health will be ups and down. So, such as performance expectation. When athletes are aware of sports betting activities surrounding their games, they may feel additional pressure to meet the expectation of the bettors. The knowledge that others have financial stake in their performance can create an immense burden, leading to heightened stress and anxiety. Moreover, financial application. Athletes may also experience increased pressure due to the financial implication of sports betting. If they are aware of their performance directly affects the outcomes of bets, they may feel responsible for the financial losses or gains of others. This financial aspect can intensify the pressure to succeed and perform exceptionally well. Lastly, media attention. Sports betting scandals or controversies can attract significantly media attention. So the athletes involved in such situation may face intense scrutiny, criticism, and invasive questioning from the media. The additional spotlight can heighten the pressure on athletes to perform well and handle this situation effectively. So that's all from me. Back to Mr. Moderator.
All right, thank you for your views and answer. It's over for the third round. Our last question today, I would like to refer to panel 2. May I ask you, panel 2?
Alright, okay. Yes, what the
What
question?
are, this question is, what are the impact of family environment?
Okay, thank you for the asking, moderator. The impact on family environments of people with sport betting problem are also characterized by high levels of anger and conflict, as well as low levels of clear and effective communication, less independence, and less engagement in intellectual and cultural activities. Besides that, a lack of commitment and supports and less participation in social and recreational activity are also the impact on the family environment. I think that's all from me. I will return to the moderator.
All right. Okay, thank you all the panelists today. A little bit of knowledge that we can get from today's forum. That's all the discussion and topic we want to discuss today. Thank you again to the panelists, and we'll see
Alright,
you another day. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. Okay, welcome.